As many of you know, my wife and I got married very quickly, in about 4 months. And that came with some interesting situations that arose because, number one, my wife didn't tell everybody that, one, she met the guy, the one that she's gonna marry, and two, that he's white. So there was like this two-hitter surprise shock for everybody that Veronica was closely associated with. How did this work out, and who did you tell first?
Well, you know something. First of all, when you meet a guy, you know, the thought of, okay, he's this color, he's that color, doesn't really come to your mind first. It's like, oh man, how are we connecting? How is he treating me? You know, that was the very first thing that came into my mind when you and I got together.
Yeah.
It was more about, you know, our beliefs and how you talk to me and how we related to each other. So I had developed this tactic that, hey, listen, anytime I wanted something and I really wanted that thing to work out, I wasn't going to share with anybody.
Yeah.
And it didn't matter who it was. It wasn't because those people were bad people, but it was just because of my own observation. Like any little thing I would share, either didn't come through and I just got really tired. And so when Ted asked me to marry him, I was really excited. I was like, oh my goodness, I'm going to be somebody's wife. Who do I tell? Who do I tell? But I had to control myself. I took my ring off after he proposed to me. I don't think you knew that. I think I told you.
You told me that, actually.
I told you that later.
And that gave me pause. I was like, I don't know about this. But this was before that she had told me everything she's telling you in quite that level of detail.
Yes.
And so I had also been in other relationships where I was kind of like the hidden item, playing second fiddle. And so that was a red flag. All of a sudden I was like, wait a minute, she took her engagement ring off? But I understand now, and actually her and I have adopted that habit for everything that we see coming our way, but that perhaps we haven't yet acquired it or attained it, because the devil is busy and he wants to try to take from you what God has coming for you. So you need to protect it until it is cemented and you've got it and there's no going back.
I used to be the type of person to just shout on top of my lungs that, hey, I have this good news. Oh my goodness, I've received this opportunity. And God had to sit me down, literally sit me down. It's like, okay, be still. Be still in the season when I'm working in your life until it comes to fruition. And so I was like, okay, this is a blessing that I cannot afford to lose. He's too good, like literally. And I can't afford to lose that blessing. And so I'm not going to share it. And so I took my ring off, kept it in the box. It came in and I hid it in my closet. I lived with family. And I was like, okay, no one can know about this. This is a word. This is the blessing I'm going to pray on. I'm going to work on. So I started praying. And when it was finally time to start sharing, the very first person that I think I told was my friend Catherine, obviously.
Right. She was involved.
Yeah, she was involved in the whole process. So I told her, I was like, okay, he has proposed. And Catherine was in agreement with me. She said, we are going to cherish this word and this blessing. I said, yes, sister. So then I kept the ring, and then later on I opened up to my mom and I said, Mom, I met somebody and he said he wants to marry me. My mom said, praise the Lord. You know how African moms are.
Oh, I can only imagine.
Praise the Lord. We thank God, oh. We thank God, oh.
I can hear her.
You can hear her. And I was like, Mom, he's from America. He was born in Oregon. Obviously, she didn't know where Oregon was. But I was like, yeah, he's Caucasian. And she said, hey, Caucasian. That's what she said. But she didn't say anything else. She said, hey, Caucasian. And then later on, she said, is he a good guy? And I said, yes, Mommy, he's a good guy. She said, have you introduced him to Pastor? What does he think? I said, oh, he's in the process of meeting him. And Mom, you know me. I've never really brought anyone to introduce the person to you. I almost did. And we both found that along the way the person wasn't that great, but this person, I'm introducing him to you, it means he's a great guy. And she says to me, don't tell anybody. I said, wow. So
she was of the same mind.
She was of the same mind, the same spirit. And she said, how long have you known each other? I said, well, we just met and he wants to marry me. My mom said, who wouldn't want to marry you? That's my daughter. That's my
See, I love your mom. There's a reason I love your mom.
And then I told her, I said, Mom, you share it with the rest of the family in Ghana, and I'll focus
Oh,
more.
you wanted her to at that point.
I wanted her to do it at that point. You share with the rest of my family. When I say the rest of my family, I'm talking about my sisters and my brothers, same father and same mother.
Well, your family is so incredible too, because they were just so accepting.
Yes.
Embraced me with open arms.
Yes.
And you must have known that that was going to be their reaction because, like you said at the beginning of this video, you weren't really concerned about the fact that I was white. The only thing that mattered to you was how we were connecting.
How we were
that
connecting.
Kind of thing. But see, we have plenty of people that actually will comment to us who are in situations where they have family that they know will be racist if they were to bring a white guy home. And they say, you know, how do I deal with this? Because my family is not gonna like this.
So with my immediate family, I didn't experience anything negative at all. But I remember vividly, I had told a friend that I worked with, and I was like, okay, this is the person. So good, you were the white guy. That was what came out first. Like,
meaning?
Yeah, you know, I was like, oh, you know.
Meaning, what are you doing? Are you crazy?
The person really didn't go into details. Like, girl, you just, and especially when I told them, okay, I'm moving to, you know, Oregon, I'm going to be with him. She's like, the person was like, do you have any family there? I was like, no, but, you know, I'm going to be married to him, so I'm going to move. It's like, girl, you gotta be careful. And I understand where the person was coming from. You know, you meet somebody and maybe they are a good person, maybe they're not, and you know, but deep within her heart, she cared for me, and you know, she knew me, and so she's like, okay, just be careful, be safe, you know, we are here if you need us. If you need us, we'll pull up. And I was like, okay, just be there for me. I trust me, this guy is a good guy.
We'll life flight you out of Oregon, you know, we'll come in a helicopter and pull you out of that mess.
Exactly. But anyway, as time went on, I decided, okay, there are some people that I needed to tell now, like some people that were really a part of my life that I needed to be like, okay, there were a few people that were really happy for me. They were so excited. They were like, Vero will be there for you. What do you need done? And I'm like this. There are some that eventually opened their heart and they were like, okay, you know what? This is what you want. We love you and I'm on board with you. And there are some that up to now still won't even talk to me, and that is fine.
And that actually is one of the very reasons why she chose to keep our relationship even a secret up to about maybe a few weeks before we got married. Because it really is a truth that when people start injecting negativity into your decisions, even if you're steadfast and you're like, no, this is what I'm gonna do, all of a sudden now there's like this doubt roosting up in the rafters of the barn of your mind, and suddenly you can't shake it. It's like it's up there. It's roosting up there, and you start thinking, should I? Maybe this person is making sense. Maybe I'm the one that's being rash. Am I going to regret this? And then all of a sudden, you know, that starts to come in and disrupt what God is creating and cultivating for the two of you to embrace in faith.
So whatever they were saying to me, they didn't know him. First of all, they didn't know Ted. The people that were not in agreement with me being with my husband, they didn't know him. They had never met him before, but yet they had concluded or decided that every single one of his race was the same.
Right.
And so that didn't sit right with me. Even some of them, I didn't even want them to come to the wedding, but they were a part of my life. So I was like, okay, you know what, you can just come, you know, but I didn't force those who didn't want to come. Those that decided that they were not going to come, didn't come. And
we hoped too that we were there to build bridges with the people that had issue with the fact that I was white and Veronica is black. So we hope that actually started to happen, but as my wife said, some of these individuals to this day still are kind of, not so with it. And that's fine. We've created our own lives and we were moving forward together. Regardless. That's why we got married so rapidly too. We got married so rapidly, it was almost like, okay, we're married now, so go ahead and tell us how much you hate this, because there's nothing you can do about it. It's too late.
Exactly. And one thing I've realized in this life, you have to make your own happiness.
Oh yeah.
You have to make it a priority, or else you will never be happy. You will live your life to please other people. And for the longest time, I was at their footstool, and they made sure that my life was in accordance to how they wanted me to be. And when I took a step back and I was like, you know what? I don't want to live the way you want me to live.
I'm not happy.
I don't want to walk the way you want me to walk.
Right.
That it's not doing me any good. I want to make my own decisions. I want to do what makes me happy. And this is what makes me happy. This man makes me happy. It's not about his race. It's not about anything else. It's about his character and the way he treats me. He makes me happy, and that is the way I'm going to go. And once I did that, I was like, oh my goodness, I've never felt more happy in my life. Like literally, it's like a burden was lifted off my shoulder. And so make sure if you are walking this life, walk it for you.
Right.
As long as you are living and doing right by God, you don't have to worry about anyone or anything. Trust me. Those who are said, oh my Veronica, I'm so happy for you. You are getting married. Yeah, let's celebrate. And those like, oh man, you married a white guy? I'm like, okay. I didn't need to hear that.
Right.
Goodbye. I don't need your opinion.
Yeah.
First of all, your opinion do not matter. It took me, oh my goodness. It wasn't until I got married, let me tell you, because when you get married, you learn from each other, you better yourselves. You know, you're supposed to be growing, you're supposed to be becoming better. It wasn't until I got married that I realized that, oh my goodness, people's opinions are secondary to what God thinks of me.
Oh, amen.
Literally, they are secondary to what God, their opinions do not matter. And it took me such a long time. When I tell you I was in bondage because I felt like I needed to make them happy, I needed to please them. How can you live like that?
No.
How can you even become anything by living like that? And so once that veil fell off, things changed for me. I started to even enjoy my relationship more. I started to see that, hey, I didn't have to tell you anything. You know,
I don't owe you anything. I don't owe you an explanation.
Nothing. Absolutely zero. Oh my goodness.
Boy, my wife is on fire. That's a word.
Yeah, it took me a while. No, I'm so happy because it took me a while because, Ted, I was going to let you go by listening to what others were saying to me, like, how? And you go to realize that, do they really want the best for you? Because when I was in my abusive relationship, emotional abusive relationship, no one had anything to say. Everyone was celebrating me. Everyone was like, oh my goodness, you know, you are in a relationship and that's what mattered. But when I finally left that relationship and I was like with someone that made me happy and I started glowing, they had something to say about that.
They want to keep you where they're comfortable with you.
Yeah, so do you really love me, or do you love the fact that I'm in your life and, you know, when you need me, I'm there when, you know. And so that really taught me a lot of lessons about people in general, about life. And I decided that from now on, everything I do, if God approves of it, that is all I do. If God tells me go, I go. If God tells me stop, I stop. Anyone else, your opinions, zero in my life. Zero, zero, zero. Like I said, I will take counsel, I will take advice, but your opinion about who I should be with,
it's not going to be the end all be all.
Your opinion about how I should raise my child, I don't want to hear it. Every single opinion, I do not want to hear it. And it might sound like it's arrogant. I'm sorry to say, when you...
It's actually maturity.
It's maturity. And when you walked in the fire for so long, you learn how to cool your foot, the sole of your foot.
The sole of your feet.
When you walked in the fire for so long, you learn how to cool the sole of your feet. And I've learned how to cool the sole of my feet.
Most people actually would like for you to stay right where you are. They'll say that, oh, I would love for you to succeed and go off and, you know, experience your dreams, and then it happens, right? Like my wife was saying, all of a sudden, then it happens, and I'm happy, and everybody's like, wait a minute.
Your dreams actually came to pass?
No, because, you know, you belong over here. You can't go do that, and we're uncomfortable with this, and we've got this, and this problem, and who cares what all the reasons, their reasons are, right? That's their life. But what is your life? Go and live it.
And on that note, we hope that the little advice we had to share will be a blessing to somebody. Don't forget to like, to subscribe, and to share. Listen, we have a new Instagram page. Yes, we do. Creators Ted and Vero TV. Go on Instagram and follow us on there. Thank you so much. Bye-bye, everybody.
Thank you so much, everybody. We'll see you next time.
See you next time.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.